Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How you doing? I hope you're feeling great and that good things are coming your way. Joining us now for his first ever recorded conversation with me as my guest is an artist that I'm lucky to have seen and met many times. As a guitarist in Jefferson Airplane, I got to see him on their '89 reunion tour. As a member of the Tuna electric band at different places all over the Boston area when I worked there. From opening to the Allman Brothers Band in studio at my old station, WZLX. I've seen him away from both settings with Phil Lesh and friends, and we're very lucky to have him coming with Jack Cassidy and Barry Mitterhoff for the acoustic Hot Tuna Hawaii Tour 2008, and another chance for us to see the acoustic Tuna. Follow the link we have to laserbearproductions.com and hawaiisbesttickets.com to get tickets and more information on Thursday's show in Lihue on Kauai, Friday here at the Hawaiian Hut in Honolulu, at the Ala Moana Hotel, Saturday at the Palace in Hilo on the Big Island, and Sunday, March 2nd at the MAC in Kahului. What a treat this is to welcome the gifted, fascinating guitarist, vocalist, producer, teacher, Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna legend, Jorma Kaukonen. Aloha, brother.
Hey, aloha. Good grief.
You're
wow.
A busy boy.
I sound pretty important.
Well, you are really important. And
oh, thanks, man.
Thanks for taking a few minutes, man. I appreciate it, Jorma.
My pleasure.
And it is you're a guy who wears, as people could hear just from that, if they don't know themselves, just from learning about you, you're a guy who wears a lot of different hats, and you do it all at once these days. There are Tuna gigs, there are your own gigs, the whole Fur Piece Ranch of activities,
right.
From teaching to performing there with big name stars too, joining that roster. You seem like, and like the hardest working man in show business to to think of a James Brown reference. Is this your wife Vanessa's doing, or how is it that you find yourself motivated to be doing so many different things?
Well, I really enjoy doing stuff. I mean, that I'm still able to do all these things, of course, is a huge blessing. My wife Vanessa, God bless her, keeps it organized for me so that it can all happen because, I'm capable about doing a lot of stuff, but organization's never been my strong point. So we make a good team, and we seem to find so far we found time to do almost everything.
It's crazy. I mean, you're really applying all the aspects of your life, everything that you could offer back, sort of. Or is she going to be coming to Hawaii on this tour that you're doing?
She is not. I'm sure she wishes she was because the weather's really crummy at home. But she's working. The ranch is getting ready to open again, and Fur Piece Ranch, and that's her baby, and so she's got just all kinds of stuff to do. But and I've decided that I probably won't tell her how great the weather is once I get out there.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it seems like she would deserve a vacation, and of all places for you to be going, this would be
Yeah, she does. Well, we had a Fur Piece Ranch on the road the last 2 weeks before. I'm in L.A. right now at McCabe's, but I just finished the McCabe's date. We were in Desert Hot Springs, and we did 2 weeks of ranch on the road, and it was really kind of funny because, of course, obviously it was a paradise compared to southern Ohio right now.
Sure.
But there were little wisps of snow one day, and the people were like wearing hoodies and stuff, and I'm going, this is spring, It was still paradise.
Yeah, it is. It all depends on where you're coming from, too, huh?
It does.
It does. It really influences it. Yeah, I was in Boston for a decade before coming here. So.
Well, I don't need to tell you what winter's like.
Yeah, no, it teaches you to appreciate a lot of little things that sometimes
Amen, brother.
people do take for granted. And Jorma, you have one of these names. When I told the people that I was going to be talking to you, your name is familiar to a lot of folks who just love either rock music or classic rock or have studied 60s or 70s culture. And if you and I we're sitting down and you and I were going to be writing a book about rock music for people who are
wow.
who are going to learn about classic rock and music that you've been a part of. How would you describe to them, some of these people who would be just turning on to it or who know your name as a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, how would you describe to them what you and Jack Cassidy are doing today, considering your shared history?
Well, I think that's a good question, and I think in some respects what we're doing today certainly reflects where we came from, and we certainly sound like us. I just think that we've gotten our metaphorical poop together a little better. I mean, I'm not saying that what we did back then was, wasn't good, because I listen to a lot of that stuff, and it's really exciting because it's fresh. But as you get older, you just start to refine your stuff. So I guess I'd say it's sort of like I guess it's living classic rock in some ways. But we're constantly learning stuff, but we certainly sound like us.
Yeah, yeah. And so it does really connect. I see it as sort of, because if you look at you as this creature that's had this long lineage in rock and roll and in music, and you look at maybe your earliest years and then everything you've done, it almost in some ways is kind of like a full circle in sonically, at least to some degree, yeah?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I mean, we went through, it's kind of funny, you go through this stuff where we were just sort of developing our sound, and quote unquote psychedelic music has sort of become a genre now, and all these young guitar players know how to do all that stuff. But it's like a big deal to us when we first did it, because nobody ever heard it before. But the bar is constantly getting raised, and everybody's always learning stuff. But I think in my own life, I certainly have sort of returned to the fold.
Yeah, it's just a way of, because when I think about people who are not as familiar, not like the Relics, Deadhead crowd that really knows all the ins and outs of what you're up to today, but more people on the fringe, and those are the people that are going to continue to provide your bread and butter long into the future because they know your name.
God bless them.
Yeah, exactly.
God bless each and every one of them.
Yeah, and I know
that. Like in this acoustic thing that we're doing on this tour, I've been playing with a lot of like bluegrass guys over the years. We've co-opted Barry Mitterhoff into the band, and but like I said, it's still us. I mean, Jack, in my opinion, is certainly one of the world's great bass players. Not just of my time, but of anybody's time. And you get him to hear him do stuff that he plays differently when we play electrically that just sometimes boggles my mind. And I play with him almost every night.
Mm. Yeah, no, he is fantastic. The tones, the little runs he makes on the
whole
bass.
Deal, yeah.
Yeah, no,
totally.
He has a lot of character, a lot of personality. Plus, he's fun to watch.
Say that. Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those great characters in rock. The two of you are. You just, it's a wonderful thing having you back.
Well, thanks.
And you're welcome, brother. And I've been taking a look at these. The Fur Peace Ranch has some, what I would describe as just wild all-star weekends, because what happens is you've already got your whole year, almost your whole year, virtually well into the fall, laid out online, so folks can take a look at these stunning artists who are coming to do not just workshops but actual concerts. Do you select, before I plug some of these guys, how is it that all of these talented cats are going to be there throughout the year? Do you say to yourself, I want to get these kind of guys, or do they reach out to you and want to be involved?
Well, a little of both. I mean, obviously, I've got some great people working with me at the Ranch, like my friend John Hurlbutt really pays much more attention to current musical events than I do, and so he comes up with people that that I might not have noticed before. Like we had Daryl Scott. Daryl wrote this song. He's written many songs. He's a great guitar player. You'll Never Get Out of Harlan Alive. It's on Patty Loveless's Mountain Soul album. Anyway, so we got Daryl, and of course when I heard Daryl, it's like, holy mackerel, where's this guy been? Because in addition to being a songwriter, he's just a great guitar player too. But the people are always turning me on to stuff, and then sometimes somebody will suggest himself to us, or we'll become aware of somebody, and we'll reach out to them and try to get them to come and join us.
And what a lineup. And furpeaceranch.com, folks can take a look at it, and we have a link there at the site. But some of these artists include Roger McGuinn coming up, and you guys that's the end of March. You're going to be gigging together at that?
I'm sorry, say again?
You have Roger McGuinn coming up at the end?
We do,
and you're going to be...
I'll be opening that show for Roger, and Roger's one of these guys that has architected this sound that in some respects is like the soundtrack to my life. People, guys my age, and it's like, yeah, I remember that song. I remember what I was doing that song was out.
Right.
And Roger, of course, like I said, he's just such a stellar talent. His voice, in my opinion, is just better than ever. And it's just really good stuff. Yeah, Roger's our big opener this year.
Will you guys be performing together or just two separate sets?
I doubt it. Roger's, we didn't. I did this with him last year. I mean, listen, if Roger wants to, obviously, I'll be happy to do so. But I think he's sort of like his, like I said, he's architected his show, and that's pretty much what he likes to do. But if for some reason he wants to jam, he can count me in. See, the thing is like, you know, I'd have to learn one of his songs. And when he plays a show, I don't know if you've heard his solo act. Mm-hmm. It's so he's a really great guitar player too.
Yeah.
It's so complete. He just doesn't need anything else.
He was one of the first. When I was a little kid, somebody took me, and God bless him for taking me. One of my dad's friends took me to see Roger McGuinn, Alvin Lee, and John Kay and Steppenwolf all on one bill. So
nice.
Yeah. So I got.
There you go. That's nice.
So I don't remember it well, but yeah, I have seen him, and it was just he and a guitar. So I know about what you mean. I mean, he brings a lot to the table just himself.
Yeah, he's really fascinating, and you know, like I say, you know, obviously when I'm home and doing the ranch, we have these great artists coming in. And Roger doesn't teach either, unfortunately, because I think he'd be a great teacher, but he doesn't have time for that. But you know, we get these people teaching and doing concerts and stuff, and I get to go home and sleep in my own bed. It doesn't get any better than that.
And meanwhile, you got people like G.E. Smith and Larry Coryell together.
Yeah.
Together. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Larry and I are, you know, we had Larry last year, and Larry and I are old friends from the old days, and he's, you know, just no question about the fact that he's one of the most important living guitarists in general, and certainly jazz guitarists in particular, and he's just a great guy and is a breathtaking, you know, performing artist, and once again, I get to hear him at home. And I will be jamming with him.
Dude, he is a monster, too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Man, I've seen him a bunch. I remember one time with Billy Cobham on the drums, and it was just...
Yeah, he's awesome. He's truly awesome.
It was hot, and I gotta believe when you have this one weekend, I've got to believe that your idea was the Reverend Gary Davis weekend. Was that your idea?
Well, actually, Vanessa and I talked about it together, and you know, I have so many friends that played it. That was a no-brainer for us, you know, because like the Reverend has really been important to me in my musical life, and I know so many people that love him also that we can call upon to play him this week. We had Stephen Grossman last year. We always have Roy and Ernie Hawkins and Woody Mann. We got a bunch of different people coming in, but you know, the Reverend, in my opinion, is one of the important figures in American music of the last century, and it's just really great to help keep his legacy alive.
I always loved it, and you'll tell me what you thought of it, because you know this tune a lot better than me. I always loved it when Brent Midland was alive and the Grateful Dead would do Death Don't Have No Mercy.
Right.
And Brent was like a natural for his part in that.
Yes, it was, you know.
That was always burning. I see Warren Haynes is going to be in there in September.
Warren is going to be there.
Already sold out for September, furpeaceranch.com. It shows you the power. What you've really done, I think, is it says that after years of doing this, you've built up such a buzz, and that people way in advance, They look for your shows, and they just buy those tickets right off the bat.
Well, we certainly have killer shows for any musical genre, but you know, when you consider that we're really an extremely rural, remote part of the country, that we're able to sell out like that, it's really amazing. It's truly amazing, because you know, people have to come to our place. It's a destination. It's not something we pass on the way.
Yeah. How far is it? What's the biggest Ohio city that's near it?
Well, we're 90 miles southeast of Columbus, so I guess that's the biggest one.
Okay.
We might be a little closer to Charleston, West Virginia, but we're not far from Athens, where Ohio University is.
Okay.
So that's a place that many people know something about. We're really, the ranch is in a little village called Darwin, but it's really closest to Pomeroy, which is a tiny river town. You know, and if you don't know about this stuff, you just don't know about it, because it's in the middle of nowhere. But you know. People come. It's the greatest.
And David Bromberg, what's that one? Alone and Together. You guys going to be playing together for that one?
Oh yeah. Well, David and I always play together. In fact, we kind of do we get together and really just do a round robin together. We're old buddies. We play well together. We're friends, and that's for both of us. That's a treat we both look forward to.
I mean, what a cool thing in your life that after all these years, this thing has evolved into what it is. I mean, to me, it's fascinating. And as I said when I was introducing you, I mean, a lot of artists of your caliber are up to, you know, they're at a different point in their career, and it's neat to watch you guys and to see the genesis of what your career has, you know, the progression of it. And I just think you'd make a great host for it. I've never been to one. I encourage people to take a good look at furpieceranch.com. Consider going. Definitely let me know about it. If you go, I would like to hear what your experience was like. And Jorma's a fun guy to get up close to. My favorite experience with you, of seeing you many, many, many times, was performing in November of '98. You guys were doing the Somerville Theater in the Boston area. And my old station there, ZLX, I set up the whole band. I don't know if you would remember it because you've done so many of these, but I had all of you, the entire band, come into the studio at the Prudential Tower, the giant skyscraper in Boston. It was like 24 stories above the city. You guys played live on the midday show with Carter Allen there. And it was just like... And I remember I got you breakfast, and you sat outside at my desk. You were looking at pictures of me with tigers and stuff like that at my desk. And then we did the show right after that. And it's like you guys translate into so many different places, and you do these little hangs. I could just imagine what it would be like spending like, is it like a 3-day weekend if you come and do one of those?
Oh, it's a ranch. It's the people come in on Friday morning and they leave on Monday morning, and it's like I said, it's an extremely rural setting. So, I mean, not that everybody's not there to play music anyway, but there's nothing to do but play music, and listen to my neighbor's cows moo, and it's just really, really a good time. I realize you're not next door, being out there in Hawaii and stuff, but if for some reason, I can't imagine why, but you never know, for some reason you find yourself passing through, northern Kentucky or western West Virginia or southern Ohio, you better give me a call.
Oh, dude, I definitely would, Jorma. I mean, I've been a big fan for a long time, and I've always thought this thing was cool. And as I get older, it seems cooler. And then when I found out I was going to be talking to you, and I saw who you had joining you there this year, it's like you're running your own little. I mean, I could just see a few years from now, right? The progression of what you're doing is going to be even further. Like, you're going to have a full-blown concert series there that's going to make what you're doing now seem small. That's just what it seems like to me.
Well, actually, it's funny you should mention it, because we do have a full-blown concert series now, and we have our own local NPR radio show.
That's what I'm...
You can get it. It's a local thing, but of course you can get you can get streaming audio. It's woub.org from Ohio University.
Ah, well, we'll have to get a link for that, and that's really.
Yeah, we got some good stuff. Check it out sometime.
Now, say the address one more time, Jorma.
It's WOUB as in boy. It's the Ohio University PBS station, NPR station.
That's very
and
cool.
We have our Jorma's Life in the Third Peach Ranch is on Friday nights, East Coast time at 7. But it's they have some streaming stuff too, and all the guys that play in our concert series are there on the radio to be heard.
That is so cool. It's such a that's awesome, and broadcasting it takes it to a whole new level, and sharing it with a lot of people, like people in Hawaii, for instance, who maybe couldn't get there. That's what's cool about doing it online.
There you go.
What's your memory? You have a lot of times that you've come to Hawaii to perform in your life. And when you think of Hawaii, what is your favorite memory, or the one that you enjoy reliving the most when you think of this state?
Well, Hawaii is such I'm not telling you anything you don't know. It's such a beautiful place. And, there's just a special vibe there. And I have a lot of old friends that live there that moved there from the States, and it's always great to see them. Of course, by now they've been, they're locals now. They've been there for many, many years. I think the most special thing, generally speaking, aside from connecting with old friends and playing music, is listening to the wonderful music that you all have there. Now, a lot of people, just kind of take it for granted. It's almost like background music, the slack key, traditional Hawaiian, the ukulele music. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was in the airport, or in an airplane flying from island to island. They had this cool music on the Muzak, and I told the stewardess, "Wow, this music is really cool." And she goes, "What music?" But like I told you, we see some gals in an airport playing guitar and ukulele and singing together, and they're unbelievable. So I always look forward to that. The musical tradition there is so rich. And it's just very, for me coming from another place, it's just very exciting to be exposed to it.
Did you always have that appreciation, like back in the '60s when you were coming? Did you think?
Well, I think I had the slack key appreciation. I don't think I'd really gotten into some of the other stuff. Back in the '60s, I mean, I was so much all about guitar playing. My taste in music has expanded to stuff that I don't and can't play just because I love it. So I listen to a lot of stuff like that guy. I think his name was Israel. I forget his last name. That did the Somewhere Over the Rainbow. He passed away a couple of years ago.
He's huge.
I wound up getting all of his CDs just because I just loved his voice. I mean, it was just it's just very powerful stuff.
Wow, that's cool to hear. That's very cool. I'm sure that impresses people. I would say memorable gigs for people who are older fans of yours who are in the community, and they are definitely out there. You did a series of shows with the Grateful Dead here in 1970. Do you remember that?
Right. That's correct. I do.
At the HIC, like three nights, I believe.
Right. Yeah. The whole airplane gang was there. Remember, it was one of those rare occurrences where we all shared the same house. We weren't the most communal of folks, so that was always exciting.
And you guys all shared the same house for your visit in Hawaii?
Yes, we did. Somewhere out on Diamond Head. I don't know where it was.
Wow, and you can remember that. That's really cool. And you, according to the book Dead Bass, have shared the stage more times with the Grateful Dead than any other band in history via the airplane.
Really?
Yeah, that's what. And you know what Dead Bass is, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So when according to Dead Bass, you'd be the number one. You were in the band that was the number one band in terms of most gigs played with the Grateful Dead.
Fancy that.
That's quite a distinction. And I'd be a complete rock and roll fool if I had not acknowledged it to you and asked you, in light of that, when you think of that claim to fame, which is something, what would be one of the times with those guys in the old days that you just thought of, maybe as I had been saying, as I mentioned that fact to you?
Well, I mean, the guys, we all kind of grew up musically together, and there was a lot of really great interactions. I guess one of my favorite, aside from just being friends with them, one of my favorite interactions was the show, and this is a show that's been passed around amongst the tapers a lot. For some reason, we found ourselves up at the War Memorial, or they were playing the War Memorial in Rochester, and a bunch of us dropped over and just wound up having a huge jam session. And that's one of those things that you look back on fondly and wishing you had more of them. But we had that one. Man,
you did. You did so many gigs with those cats, and just to think of all the time that you spent around them, and that's what people can, when people have the chance to see this show, the Hot Tuna acoustic tour, you're really tapping into rock and roll history. You're tapping into music history. I'm with a guy who's just done so much stuff. It's startling. I got to tell you, man, it's a pleasure to get to speak with you, and I encourage everyone to catch these Hot Tuna shows. And people can stay in touch with Jorma at jormakaukonen.com, furpeaceranch.com, hottuna.com. The band are going all over the world. We would not be the most exotic of dates. They're going to a lot of... I see later in the summer you're going to Israel. Have you ever been there before?
I've never been. I'm very excited about that. We joke we'll be wailing at the Wailing Wall. We're fired up.
Doing 2 shows too, not just one at the Hot Tuna tour roster. You can see it's crazy business, man. Well, please do stay in touch. I'm looking forward to seeing you when you're in town. And again, a big mahalo for taking time.
Thank you, mahalo. Thank you very much. I look forward to saying hey to you in person.
How was that? Was that okay?
That was great.
That was a lot of fun. You're the man, brother Jorma.
Take care, brother. Hi, everybody. This is Jorma Kaukonen, Jefferson Airplane, Hot Tuna, and a number of sub-projects. And I want to tell you this is the only show that matters with my friend Dave Lawrence. Aloha, everybody. This is Jorma Kaukonen, enjoying Dave Lawrence's show, and I'd like to wish Brother Dave and all his friends a happy and healthy 420.